Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In review today is Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho on 4K Blu-ray. Let's take a look at the tech specs. It was shot on a combination of 35mm film and digitally captured 3.4K. It's got a 2K DI, the aspect ratio is 239:1, it's a 100GB disc, it's got a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, the runtime is 116 minutes, and it's rated 18. In terms of picture quality, comparing it to the Blu-ray, the 4K disc manages to get as much as it can out of the source material, offering some moderate but appreciative improvements to sharpness and clarity, alongside a nice boost in colour saturation from the HDR grading. About 80% of Last Night in Soho was shot on a combination of 35mm and Super 35mm film using Panaflex Millennium XL2 cameras, with the rest, particularly nighttime exteriors, being captured digitally on ARRI Alexa cameras in 3.4K. Sequences taking place in the 60s utilise anamorphic lenses, whilst present-day scenes use spherical lenses. When Eloise and Sandy start to blend with one another though, a mix between the two was used. The filmmaking process results in an image that isn't often as razor sharp as you may expect, with a slight tinge of softness. It does however carry a pleasant filmic appearance with a fine layer of grain. Even if not completely razor sharp, close-ups still reveal a slightly wider array of fine details, with pulls, wrinkles and makeup all having increased definition, and the same goes for clothing, which displays some great detailing on the 60s garments. The use of anamorphic lenses and Super 35mm film in the dream sequences creates a slight warping around the edges of the film, replicating a vintage aesthetic and an appearance that is very common in films of that era. With only a modest improvement to sharpness and clarity, the HDR grading is the real highlight of this transfer, presenting the dark nighttime scenes more authentically whilst enriching the bold primaries. At the very beginning of the movie, when Eloise is with her grandmother, the image carries some warm and bright hues, before transitioning to the bleak and drab tones of modern-day London when Eloise goes to college. The dream sequences are where the picture really comes to life colour-wise, from the bright glowing night lighting on the exterior of the Café de Paris to the bold splashes of colour on the advertisements in Piccadilly Circus. 1960s London looks rich and vibrant. The neon sign outside Eloise's bedroom window displays some nice vivid reds and blues, and both colours feature predominantly throughout the movie, with the HDR grading providing some nice enhancements to both primaries. The frequent nighttime scenes benefit from deeper and richer blacks, whether it's the dark shadowy alleyways of London or the moments of darkness in Eloise's bedroom between the neon sign flashes. The 4K disc produces something that the Blu-ray can't quite live up to. Moving on to the audio quality. Universal's presentation features a Dolby Atmos soundtrack that offers a satisfying accompaniment to the visuals. Chapter 5, when Eloise is transported back to the 1960s, is a solid standout moment and gives you a taste of what's to come throughout the runtime. As she walks towards the Café de Paris, the sound builds and builds before erupting into a punchy delivery of You're My World by Cilla Black, alongside the immersive environmental ambience of the busy London street. The musical elements are the main driving force of the soundtrack, producing detailed deliveries of each song, along with some good bass response, from Wade in the Water by the Graham Bond Organisation to Anya Taylor-Joy's rendition of Downtown. Your neighbours may think you're having a 60s themed party. Along with added musical extension, the high speakers are also used effectively in the dream sequences, with voices eerily moving throughout the soundstage, creating a great atmosphere. For the most part, dialogue comes through clearly and is easy to comprehend, but there are a few moments where it felt a little quieter than it should be in comparison to the loud and bombastic music and effects. To summarise, I'll give the picture an 8.5. The overall image isn't as sharp as may be expected, with a slight softness, but the 4K resolution does still manage to offer up some moderate refinements to clarity and fine detailing. The HDR grading is the real winner here though, with the film's colour palette benefiting from a nice range of improvements. It's not leaps and bounds ahead of the Blu-ray, but still the best way to experience the movie. And I'll give the audio an 8.9. Fans of the film that are Atmos equipped should thoroughly enjoy this soundtrack, with good bass response, engaging surround and high speaker activity, and fantastic renditions of the 1960s music, all making for a fun and enjoyable viewing experience. So these are my thoughts on Last Night in Soho on 4K Blu-ray. Will you be picking this one up? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoy this type of content, why not consider subscribing, as I have new videos out every week. Thanks for watching guys, enjoy your movies, bye!